Okay, today's is called Lesson 4, Combinations B. And this is basically the harder combinations day. Now, this is just a review of how to do this without a calculator. I'll give you a hint. It's 6 factorial over something. And then if you actually write out what that means, a bunch of stuff cancels. You can do the problem in your head. Please don't use the calculator right now because you're not going to be allowed to use it on the test on this kind of problem. There's some that are calcs allowed and some problems that are no calcs allowed. So on this one, you'd have 6 factorial, and please tell me you didn't put 2 factorial. It's not quite that easy. It's 4 factorial. How do you get the 4 factorial? 6 minus the 2. All right, good. And what that means is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 over 4, 3, 2, 1. Cancels, and it's really 6 times 5, so you can do it in your head, and it's what? 30. All right, good. 7C3, give you a hint. It's a little more complicated with a C because there's an extra thing on the bottom. Don't say it. Write it on your iPad or on paper. Figure it out. A bunch of stuff cancels. This time you got to do a little more creative canceling, but you can do it. You'll just have a nice simple number at the end. I'll pause while you try this one. 7 factorial over 2 things. Okay. Did you say 7 factorial over 7 minus the 3 is 4 factorial? Okay. I'm glad you're sharing with the person next to you, but this is the part where you got to be quiet. Thank you. And it should be 7 over 4, and then one more thing. What? 3 factorial. Good. And if you stretch this out, it's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 over 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1 cancels 4, 3, 2, 1. And then if you're smart about it, 3 times 2 is 6, cancels 6, see? And then you got 7 times 5 is 35. Okay. So 35. Now let's talk about what that means. Is that a probability? No. If there's 35 ways to like arrange these in sets of 3, if there were 35 ways to do that, then you'd have a 1 in 35 chance that whatever, that you pick the right way. That's the kind of thing you could do with probability. These are not probability makers. These are how many ways makers. They tell you how many ways. All right, this one is going to be just like yesterday. CC or CC over C. When is it CC over C? Probability. Do you notice that this number 1, and 2 and 3 do not ask for probabilities? They are only asking for CC or just C in some cases. But some of them have CCC. All right, so this first one, 5 hearts. You just have a C, and how are you going to do that with that? Well, you got to know how many hearts there are. And again, if you're ever asking on a test, I will tell you in a deck of cards how many hearts there are or how many spades there are. Okay, there are 13 hearts. And you're choosing out how many? 13C5. Now, could a kid have done it with 2 Cs? Yes. They could have then said that all the rest of the cards that aren't hearts would be 39 of them, and they're going to choose how many of those? 0, because we already got all 5 cards. Notice it's a 5-card hand. We already got all 5 right here, so they got 0 left to pick. Do you need to do this part? No. But if you do it, sometimes it helps keep you organized, especially on the CC over C problems. Then it's really smart to do. Okay, 3 clubs and 2 diamonds. You need 2 Cs for that, at least. And I might even do a 3rd C. Give it a shot. You can ask me questions like, I don't know how many clubs there are. Ask me. There are 13 clubs. It's okay. It's all right. If you're not a card player, you wouldn't know. So you can ask. 13 clubs. There's also 13 diamonds. Okay, did you say there's 13 of them and you want 3 clubs? This is clubs. And there's 2 of them and you want 13? Does that make sense? I know. I just said, does that make sense? No. So, what is it? Man, you could think I was bad. I'm going to have to sneak up on you and scare you. 13. Choose what? All right, now hold that thought for a second. Now, wait a minute. There's supposed to be 52 cards. So what should I do? Well, you could go like this. Of the other things that there are, there's clubs and there's diamonds. Do you get that there's 2 more kinds over here? And I want 0 of them. 13 of these, choose 0. 13 of those, choose 0. Add these all up, then there'd be 52 cards possible, and I've picked out 3, 4, 5 of them, and none of these and none of those. These last 2 are totally optional. But it's 13C3 and 13C2. Any questions on that? All right, I'll pause for a second. Okay, so the next one is exactly 3 spades. Hardest one, because kids just think, oh, 13C3. Wrong. Because they got to do something with those other 2. Because there's 5 cards total. So I'll pause while you give that a try. Okay, so exactly 3 spades. I'm going to go with 13 spades, choose 3. And I'm wrong. Because you got to have choosing 2 of something else. But what other things can you pick from? 39 other things. Very good. Because that makes 52. And this makes you pick 5. All right, moving on. The defective TVs. This is a hard question. I'll even tell you, anytime you see this question, it's CC over C. The question is, can you figure out what to put on all the C's? I'm going to pause for a second while you work this through. I would bet you that we'll get, half of you will get it right. So try to be in that top half. I'll pause for a second while you try. Okay, would you agree that on the bottom you have to have the biggest number? Think about it. The bottom is what all the things that are possible. Those are always the big numbers on the bottom. Okay, guys, focus. So the bottom has 75 that you could buy from. And then what are we talking about? Buying 1? Buying how many though? Buying 10. So it's 75C10 on the bottom. Now, do you remember me telling you that these numbers here had to match up with these numbers down here? So, if we do it that way, how many of them are defective? 4 defective ones, and these are the not defective ones. 4 defective ones, and out of those 4 defective ones, I want to get 1. I don't really want 1. But I'm investigating what is the probability that 1 is defective. See? So 4, choose 1, and then if these have to add up to 75, this must be 71 that are not defective, and I'm expecting 9 of them to work. All right. Did anybody have that set up properly? All right. So that's a tough one. I thought we'd have more than that. We got a couple. All right, but look at it now. Now that you see it, how many of you feel like you understand it now that you see it? Okay, and if you don't understand a part, you can ask me. Is there any of this you want me to explain? Because I can. All right, because we're going to do another one just like this in a second. So is there any part of this that like totally doesn't make sense to you? Remember, the biggest numbers go on the bottom. There was a total of 75 TVs, and there was a total of 10 TVs bought. Those are the big numbers down there. And then this other ones have to add up to that. So the 75 has to get broken up into 2 parts. And you just think, oh, well, if they add up to 75, it must be something plus something makes 75. And oh yeah, there's 4 of them plus 71 of them. All right, let's try the next one. It's very similar. Let's see if we can go from only a couple people right up to, maybe we can get 60 or 70% of you. CC over C. The reason we're practicing this is it is hard. It is one of the most missed questions on a test. So, maybe easy for you, but you got to admit if most people got it wrong, it must have been not that easy. I'll pause for a second while you give it a try. Okay, so here we go. CC over C. How many of you think you got it this time? Okay, let's see. 120 is the biggest number. It goes here. Then how many total are we buying? This is totals now. We're buying 5. And defectives, how many were there that were defective? And I want to get, or I'm investigating getting 1, and then how many were not defective? 117, and you get how many of those? And does this plus this make that? And does this plus this make that? Then you did it right. Good job. Okay, now, your homework for tonight. I can tell you some you can skip. I strongly recommend, I know the time's almost up, but take the seconds. You'll thank yourself later. Open the homework, and I'll show you which ones to skip. Okay, so here's the worksheet. And the first couple problems are kind of normal ones that we got to know how to do, so we got to do those. Number 3 is just like what we just did, where it's one of those defective calculator things. Okay, so it's a defective problem, so you got to do number 3. Number 4 is already crossed off, so yay, you get to skip that one. And I really don't think number 5 is an awesome question, so we're going to skip number 5. And number 6 is one of the harder ones. It's a CC over C question. Think of it as kind of like a deck of cards question, except that instead of like hearts, there's red blocks, and instead of spades, there's like black blocks or whatever. So like number 6 is just like one of those CC over C questions, so you should do that one. And all I had you skip so far, I think you were really good at problems like number 9, so let's skip C and D on number 9, the last two, and then skip number 5, and how about we skip number 8, parts B and C. So 8, B, and C can be skipped. 9, C, and D can be skipped, and number 5 can be skipped. Okay, get the rest of them done. That's all I got for you for today. Have a great day.